So on the campus of Harvard University, the Trump and Clinton campaigns clash in a very heated discussion on how the presidential race was won and lost. This was dicey. Listen.
If providing a platform for white supremacists makes me a brilliant tactician, I am glad to have lost. I would rather lose than win the way you guys did.
Do you think I ran a campaign where white supremacists had a platform? You going to look me in the face and tell me that?
It did. Kellyanne
really?
did.
Oh, and that's how you lost?
It did.
Do you think you could have just had a decent message for the white working class voters?
So Joel Benenson was in that room while this discussion, debate, argument was going on. He was the chief strategist of Hillary Clinton's campaign, and this is his first television interview since the campaign. So Joel, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
As part of that exchange back and forth between Jennifer Palmieri and Kellyanne Conway, you were part of it too. And you said that the Trump campaign sent out dog whistles. What did you mean?
Well, look, first of all, part of the discussion revolved around them saying it was media bias to focus on Donald Trump's comments about Judge Curiel, an American who was born in Indiana, who he said couldn't do his job because of his Mexican heritage. Like, if that was not, in fact, Paul Ryan said that is the definition of a racist statement. Not me. Paul Ryan said it. When you have in your campaign as your chief strategist the man who says his news outlet, Breitbart Media, is the platform, not a platform, and the New York Times today said a platform. Mr. Bannon called it the platform for the alt-right, which is a movement that has promoted.
I understand this argument. This is a supply side argument. You are saying that they were sending out a racist message. Now, when you're talking about how the election was won or lost, you need to establish that there was a demand. So are you saying that there were enough people receptive to that message, which you consider racist, to decide the election?
Well, if you look at the exit polls, John, in 6 key states, some of the Rust Belt states, North Carolina, Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, between 20 and 31% of the people answering the exit poll said they believe minorities are favored in this country. I think Donald Trump himself during the campaign talked about how badly minorities were treated when he went to cities and said, you've been forgotten, you've been left out. Of those people in each of those states, they voted between 7-1 and 10-1 for Donald Trump.
Racial feelings, I don't want to call it racist feelings, but you're saying racial feelings were decisive.
I think I'm saying there are many factors in this campaign that were decisive. The discussion at Harvard is for the purpose of history. And you're supposed to have an honest conversation about the strengths, the weaknesses, the ups and downs, and how the campaign was played. And that was part of the discussion. And I think we are still...
But a contributing factor were people with these racial opinions who voted along.
We have a candidate for president who talked about banning people, and now the president-elect, who talked about banning people from this country because of their religion. We had a president who talked about a judge not being able to do his job because of his heritage. He talked about a whole people coming from Mexico sending their
and we were
rapists.
All there, but you're saying now, to be clear,
well, what do you think
enough people liked it.
I think that was striking a chord with some people. I do. I mean, why were they saying it? Were they saying it just because he believes it and they were throwaway lines? He didn't back away from any of them. He never said, hey, I shouldn't have said any of these things. Look, he's the president-elect right now. He's got a responsibility to both run the country and show moral leadership. And when people, like they did in Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago, deliver the Nazi salute blocks from the White House, he should be denouncing them by name. He should be calling them out. He should be saying the Ku Klux Klan should not be celebrating and parading in North Carolina.
A lot of people agree. There should be no statute of limitations for calling out the KKK or people who make Nazi salutes. I was just trying to establish that you thought that it wasn't just the Trump people and Donald Trump himself sending this message, but that there were enough people out there hearing this message and approving of this message to make him win.
Look, I think they are part of many reasons why the campaign was won by the Trump campaign. I'm not saying it is the reason, but I'm saying when you have 20% in exit polls who say that minorities are favored in America, which I just think is counter to every piece of data and fact that we have, then you're saying that there is an audience for this. And if they're receptive to it, that's not, whether it's coincidental, but it was a reality in the campaign, and it was a legitimate part of the discussion yesterday.
Comey, decisive?